Hello, F2 Fan 5000 here. That was a fantastic weekend of Formula 2 in Imola, and very important for the championship. And the first thing I want to talk about is Victor Martins. Victor Martins has been quick all year, but what's wrong? What's wrong with Victor Martins? Like, he is so fast. Victor Martins is a hellhound. He's always on the front two rows qualifying, even since his first year. He's always there, and then when the race comes, he ends up with nothing to show for it. We know how. Just look at the. I know there's a safety car, but he's come back from being almost a lap down to 12th place. It's almost remarkable, and yet 12th place. People are going to look at 12th place and go, "Oh, that's dreadful." I mean, the guy is so fast. Seemingly he can't. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong over there. ART, Victor Martins. There was a golden opportunity for a win. Bogdanovic, if he'd taken that race, I think Martins would have had the better of Bogdanovic, because Bogdanovic was lucky with the qualifying. He was lucky. He wasn't the fastest driver. Martins would have got him. Not only golden opportunity for Martins, golden opportunity for Leonardo Fornaroli, because Sebastian Montoya, there was no Sebastian Montoya in front of him. He had a clear path and he took it into second place. And the interesting thing, going into Tamburello on the opening lap, Fornaroli is almost alongside Bogdanovic as they're turning in. A lot of drivers would have tried, in F2 and F3, would have tried to hang it around the outside. But we know Fornaroli is a very careful and cautious driver, and he's backed out of that move before he got there. He's like, no, I don't want to fight this one. I'm actually impressed by that, but it's not one of his strongest weekends, mainly because even though he's running in second before the stops, he's not really showing a lot of pace. Pit stop was slow. I think that his team were overly cautious in sending him out. They should have said, right, go. I think there was enough space for him to get out in front of those cars, but they were holding him. Oh, we don't want to get a penalty. And I think that didn't help him. Obviously, defended very aggressively against Arvid Lindblad. Now, Arvid Lindblad was very quick. He's only finished P4, but obviously in the sprint race he was on the podium as well. But P4 is a fantastic result. Don't forget, Arvid Lindblad is about 2 years younger than any other driver there. He's doing a fantastic job. If this was Arvid Lindblad in 2 or 3 years' time, where he's on the same age with these other drivers, he might be winning. He might even dominate. I don't know. I can't speculate on that, but he might be. And of course, I've got to talk about Alex Dunne. Alex seems to be a very confident driver when things are going his way. He just... I have to say that's a very Max Verstappen-esque drive from Alex Dunne. I don't know why. I just feel like that was very much, every opportunity he saw, he took it. I know that he benefited a lot from the pit stops, but he took his opportunities. He rattled Bogdanovic, Bogdanovic is getting upset because he's got Victor Martins in front of him. And then he's trying to get past Luke Browning. He goes around the outside because a lot of them stopped at the end of lap 6, such as Fornaroli, Lindblad, Dunn and Bogdanovic. And then Browning and Crawford stopped on lap 7 And Browning was able to overcut these drivers. But, you couldn't stop Alex Dunn coming through. Bogdanovic trying to get ahead lost a place because he went off the road. He got very hot in the head, very rattled. Alex Dunn, and with that, when the safety car had pulled in, he had all those cars in front of him and he just sliced through them. By the time those cars like Dirksen, Marty, Esterson, Stanek, once they'd all pitted, Dunn was so far ahead, it was just, as I said, it's Verstappen-esque. It's like Max, like that was the sort of race he had. He just dominated, demolished the opposition, had all the courage and the confidence to just go for every gap, take it, take no prisoners. It was a beautiful race from Alex Dunn. Luke Browning's really impressing me now. I was not sure of him before the season. And then sometimes we hear the caveat about him being a bit older than some of the other drivers, but he's just driving so well. He's always maximising the opportunity. And fair play to High Tech and Ollie Oakes if you know everything that's been going on in the background. A double podium, that's a way to answer, That's a way to answer all the allegations, the critics, everything. Fantastic work. Then there was a sprint race, not very eventful, which is good. We don't want safety cars in F2. Excellent race from Jack Crawford. Saw his opportunity to get past Miata. Took it straight away. Arvid Lindblad was ultra fast. The other drivers had no answer for him. Luke Browning again on the podium. You see what I mean? Browning is always there. He doesn't make mistakes this year. Like he's just clinically scoring points. Yeah, Fornaroli a bit disappointing. Like at the end of the sprint race, he's got Roman Stanek all over his rear wing. What's with that? You're the F3 champion and Roman Stanek is giving you a hard time. Safety cars, the safety car in the feature race ruined the feature race because it's taken some drivers out of contention who were on the alternative strategy. Actually, I was very surprised that Richard Verschoor wasn't on the alternative strategy. He's the king of the alternative strategy and stealing a win where it wasn't his in the first place. I'm not surprised to see him struggle this weekend, actually, because to me, Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, is very much an experienced driver's track. Now we're going back to circuits that everyone knows, whether you're from Freca, whether you're from, or you've done F3 or F4, you'll know circuits like Imola, Barcelona. So I don't think there's much of an advantage for someone like Verschoor and his experience, but I think he'll bounce back as well. Yeah, just impressed with the overtakes as well. The overtakes are just, not easy circuit to overtake, although sometimes, the tyre offset makes it too easy going into Tamburello. So driver ratings. Leonardo Fornaroli, 6.5. As I said, lacking pace, lacking aggression, but consistently getting points. The ultimate pace wasn't really there. But as I said, very impressive in qualifying to make the tyres last for a third lap. Big fan of Leonardo Fornaroli. I'm really his well-wisher, so I hope to see him do a little bit better. But yeah, the third, as I said, I don't see very rarely in this series a driver that consistently holds his tyres for a third lap in qualifying and can pull one out the bag. And if he was outside of the top 10 at that moment, if he hadn't done that, he might not have got the points that he got. He got about 12 points this weekend. There could have been a lot less or even none if he hadn't have done that qualifying lap. Excellent. He's just sort of more or less consolidated his position in the races without doing anything flashy. Roman Stanek, I'll give a 5 out of 10. Nothing special from him, but I like how he loves to hold up other drivers, and the commentators were saying, oh well, Roman Stennick's holding up Lindblad and Browning so that Fornaroli can catch up to him, and then he held up his own teammate as well. I like that from Roman Stennick. He's really brutal. And then Arvin Lindblad gets a 9. He's not the best driver this weekend, but he's close to it. He's just a baby compared to the others, and he's finished both races in the top 4. Looked like he had a lot of pace all weekend. Sensational work. Clearly one to watch for the future. Won't be surprised. 2026 is in a Racing Bulls car. Pepe Marti a 3. Now I want Pepe Marti to do well. I don't just want drivers that the media talks about. It's not like they're the only ones I want to do well, make it to Formula One. We need our underdogs, we need Isaac Hadjar. Pepe Marti has the opportunity to go and put some great weekends together, but unfortunately struggling in Europe again, like last year. But, the safety car took him out of contention. The qualifying isn't representative, so it's hard to be fully judge on it, but he didn't look very fast either. Oliver Goethe, I'll give him a 6. He's got points, but I'm not impressed. He's just lucky with the timing. Both in the qualifying, he's lucky with the timing of the red flag. In the race, he's lucky with the timing of the safety car. It all worked out for him. I don't think he would have scored points otherwise. He doesn't. I know he beat Richard Verschoor, but he has no pace. And Richard Verschoor, I give a 5. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to blame him for the qualifying, but it shows you have to have a banker lap in, right? And I think Richard knows that, but for whatever reason, he ended up in 19th place. And, no pace, but somehow comes away with 9th place and 2 points. So I'll have to give Richard Verschoor a 5 out of 10 at least for 2 points. Luke Browning, I've got to give a 9. As I said, he's clinical. He just always scores points. He's fantastic at the moment. Not quite as eye-catching as Alex Dunn or possibly Arvid Lindblad, but he's there every race scoring big points. Come on, Williams, take note of this guy. Dino Beganovic will give him a 7. That, the qualifying is not really representative, but at least he's come away with from the weekend with a podium. Sloppy in the sprint race as well. Sloppy in the feature race, gave up a position by running off track. Had no answer for Alex Dunn. You can't compare the two of them. And then Gabriele Mini, I'll give him a 4, which I think is a little generous. Now, he's just looked slow all weekend compared to Sebastian Montoya. And as much as I like Gabriele Mini, I like him a lot. I feel like he lives in the shadow of Andrea Chimiantinelli as a fast young Italian driver coming through the ranks. But the thing for Mini is that he has off weekends. Spain 2024, F3, hopeless, getting overtaken every which way. And here this weekend, he had no pace compared to Sebastian Montoya. I think 4 is generous, but I'll have to take into consideration he might have put in a good lap in qualifying if he'd got the chance. So got to give a little bit of leeway for Gabriele Mini. And this week there aren't any really low scores. Sometimes I'll give him a 1 or a 0. Sebastian Montoya 6.5, and it's a little bit unfair, but it's also a little bit fair. But he's had a great race. He's had a great weekend, but the race was actually awful because he stalled on the grid and he's at the back and somehow he finishes in 8th place. Well, him and Verschoor finished there because the alternative strategy runners were ruined by the safety car, basically. That's like Qatar last year. Once the safety car came out, that absolutely reordered the race. He's an inconsistent driver. He looked quick for once. So, Jack Crawford 8. Little bit underwhelming in the feature race. Not bad. and then the sprint race he won it. So yeah, you can't take too much away from him. Maybe a 7.5. I think this feature race is more important than the sprint, even though he won it. I'll give him 7.5. And then Kushmini, I'm sorry, I'll have to give a 1 out of 10 because he's a highly experienced driver at this level, and to be crashing, causing red flags in qualifying is unacceptable. Felipe Drugovich dominated in his third season. Zhou Guanyu's third fought Oscar Piastri for the title back in 2021. Nick De Vries dominated F2 in his third season. Kushmini is crashing in qualifying. What am I supposed to? I'm sorry, I can't really give him a. Like, the race is okay. I mean, actually, he sort of was closer to Jack Crawford on pace, but there's nothing to show for it at all. No, sorry. I think he made more than one. I don't know. He had no pace in the race. I don't even remember where he finished. Alex Dunn, I'll give him 11 out of 10. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. I'm just trying to reflect how I see the weekend. Just the sprint race was okay. Took home decent points. But then the feature race, that's one of the best feature races by any driver in F2. Like, it's probably the best performance by a driver this season. It's pretty much up there with Gabriele Bortoleto last year in Italy. Remember, the safety car benefited him, but there was the drivers that were on the alternative strategy hadn't stopped yet in front of him, and he overtook them very easily compared with Zane Maloney, who was chasing him. So it reminds me of that a little bit. But sure, there's luck involved, but you make the most of the opportunity, and he was just on it from the get-go. He's on the radio. Oh yeah, the race will come to us. Play the long game, and that's what happened. Absolutely I don't want to. I'm sick of the superlatives. 11 out of 10 says everything. Emery Cordell, I've given him a 5. I'll give him a 5 for his defensive driving. That was an interesting part. He held up Luke Browning for so long. It was a little bit unfair, I suppose, but anyway. Victor Martins, I don't give him a number. I just, a scream emoji, like, like this, like so much speed, so much potential. It's not working out for him in Formula 2. I feel like he should find a different series to prove his worth. I don't know, go to Japan or something, or Super Formula, just prove how fast you are, because Victor Martins is fast, but it's not showing up in the results here. It always seems to slip through his fingers for some reason. Usually it happens on the first lap, into the first corner, a stall, clutch issue, whatever it is, I don't know, but I don't know, like just, out of 10 for Victor Martins. I don't know what else to say. Ratomo Miata, a 5.5. I think that's fair. He didn't really have any pace, but still he's held on for some points in the sprint race. A better showing from him. Sammy Megatuniff, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 because Trident are the worst team this year and he somehow got points for them. I mean, if we're being honest, there's only 11 drivers in the fight for points because of the nature of the safety car taking the drivers on the alternative strategy completely out the running. It's like a 40-second penalty or a 35-second penalty, So all these drivers have that penalty. So it's really only the top 10 drivers plus Sheehan Shields who had a chance to score points. And if you're only beating Sheehan Shields, it's not a... I could say the same about Sebastian Montoya and Richard Verschoor and Oliver Goethe. But still, it's Trident, their first point, so I've got to give him at least a 7, yeah. Max Verstappen a 4. Not a terrible weekend, but nothing to remember. Dirksen, I feel very bad for Dirksen here. I feel like he could have been in. I mean, the car looks slow, AIX. I've given him a 4, but I feel like that's more on AIX. AIX are just a joke at the moment. They are just a joke. They really are. They in F3, I don't know. They have no. That car has no pace. Dirksen was being overtaken left, right, and centre in the sprint race. Here if it wasn't for that safety car, he could have been in the points. But AIX have no pace. Sheehan Shields, I've got to give him a 5. 11th place is an excellent result for Sheehan Shields. As I explained about Sammy Megatoon, if it's not really an 11th place on merit, but still a 5. John Bennett gets a 3 because of his crash on the last lap in the sprint race. Otherwise, probably wasn't that bad. And Rafael Villagomez, I'll give him a 2 because he crashed out of the feature race. So, dreadful weekend for Van Amersfoort Racing. And their nearest competitor tried and actually scored a point, yeah. So they might actually end up as wooden spoon, but I don't think so. I think Trident are going to hold on to that one. I think they'll finish last in the championship. I won't change my mind on that. But I'd like to talk about the championship. Obviously, if Alex Dunne can string a few more performances like that together, he should be in conversation as being a favourite. But I want to see how Monaco and Barcelona go first before I make any more judgment calls. Monaco is not really a representative track, but increasingly Formula 2 is becoming a game of maximising your opportunities rather than, a team that has a good package and a team that has a good package and they just dominate like Premier used to do, ART used to do. It's not like that anymore. It's not like about driver and team combination. It's about chaotic races and tracks that have different characteristics, like Albert Park, Bahrain, Jeddah, Imola, Monte Carlo. There's not really a standard track anymore. Later on in the season, they're going to Baku, they're going to Qatar. So it's about maximising your points when they're on offer, no matter what the circuit situation is. That's what Formula 2 is becoming, rather than, having the best package and the best car in the European leg of it, because and of course we're going to lose some of these races that we got, like Barcelona and Imola, from the calendar. So next year they're going to be going to Madrid, maybe somewhere else as well. So it's more races that are so-called not representative of the overall picture. But if there are more of those races, then there is no main race. Like Barcelona is considered the most standard race for racing because it has the characteristics common to most racetracks. If you do well in Barcelona, you're considered like you're going to be good everywhere. It's sort of like a standard bearer track, but it's going to lose that. I mean, not only because it won't be on the calendar, but because there's so many more eccentric tracks now that have different characteristics that aren't representative of that so-called, the classic circuit that you would race on. That again, it's just about maximising the opportunities when they're presented. That's what Formula 2 is becoming now, and I want to wait another couple of races before I start making calls on what the championship picture is like, but definitely looking forward to some good action. Qualifying in Monaco should be very interesting. The races should be very boring, But hopefully there aren't any red flags, so we get like a very good. We feel like that the qualifying times are hard earned, but it's highly possible there'll be yellow flags, or red flags in quali. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but can't wait to look forward to it.